Welcome to Care Sandwich, the podcast where we dive into the success journeys of law firm owners across the country. I'm Margarita Eberline, your host and the founder of Marketing Boss, a fractional chief marketing officer firm for law firms. On this show, we'll explore the challenges, strategies, and victories that have shaped law firms and how they wrap every interaction with care. Because we believe that caring isn't just a value, it's a strategy for success. So grab your favorite sandwich, sit back, and let's dig into a conversation filled with insight, inspiration, and of course, a lot of care. Hey everyone, welcome to today's episode of Care Sandwich. I have Karen Quintanilla of King of Kings, and she is going to tell us all about her company, how they help law firms, law firm owners, and really add value to the legal space by making sure that you have money, and cash flow, and that you have a plan to scale your business financially, and you know that we're not just paying taxes all the time because that makes us sad. So Karen is amazing. She's been in the legal industry for a while. So Karen, just go ahead and tell us about yourself. What do you do? How do you change law firm owner lives?
Hi, Margarita. Thank you so much for having me as a guest on your podcast. It is quite an honor to be here with you today, and I'm so excited for the information that we're going to share. A little bit about my background. I have helped more than 500 law firms over my past 2 decades.
500 law firms over 2 decades. I'm going to say it again for the people in the back. That's a lot of law firms. And so you started your career as a paralegal?
I started my career back in 2010 as a paralegal, and from there, I got promoted in my second job, which was another law firm, as a operations manager. And from there, obviously, I went up to the COO, and then as a consultant, more into that, that CFO space, COO, growth. Understanding the finances, what makes a successful team, and how can you grow your firm and make it scalable. So that's what we have done for the past, 16 years here at King of Kings Business and Tax Advisory Firm, where I'm a co-founder and CEO of the firm. We help law firm owners maximize their tax savings and make their businesses projectable in a forecast, right? So we develop something that we call the dashboard of KPIs, and how to track and make data-driven decisions and not gut feelings decisions.
And that's how you and I connected, because we love KPIs and we love understanding things like what is the cost per lead, what is the cost per case, and we speak the same language when it comes to that. So Karen, walk us through as simply as you can, because I know what you do is like wicked smart and you get into data, so just as simply as possible. What is that methodology? Like, give us one example. How do you apply it to, say, a law firm that is going from being a referral-based solopreneur and wants to actually scale and build a marketing funnel, get leads, and wants to know, what is my risk tolerance? How much can I actually invest in marketing out the gate? And what do I need to do to make sure that I'm getting the proper return in the proper timeline so that I can keep going?
Yeah, one of the perfect examples is we got one firm in 2020, just right off pandemic. This was in July 2020. And this firm, the highest year, 5 years in business, solopreneurs, they have done $386,000. Within 1 year, we did a forecast business plan that we were going to get that firm to 1.4. How do you get to 1.4 when you're barely 386 with one receptionist, right? So what we look into is everything that have to do with the capacity of the business, the owners, what type of services are you offering, what are the average value of cases, client acquisition, lead acquisition, like in this case you're saying, right, cash flow, risk tolerance as well, because as the owner you have to know that you're going to be investing not only time but money into that business, and you have to have a plan. You have to forecast towards the future. One of the characteristics that I always tell law firm owners that you have to develop if you don't have, is you have to become proactive. Proactive is you have to anticipate what is going to happen and design your future, not being in the reactive mode that we just like, oh, it's another week, another day, that we're not planning towards the future. So one of the things that we do is we make sure that we have the forecast, we have the numbers aligned, and going back to what you mentioned, right? Don't give me data-driven decisions, but everything has to do with data. Everything has to do with how much money do I have? What is my capacity in the office that I'm at? Am I going to be hiring people locally or out of state or internationally? I'm going to have VAs, or who's going to be on my team? What key players do I need to hire? Who's my next hire? And so the next hire, what is the ROI on that position, right? Because the other thing that I often see is that we just hire to hire. We need bodies to do forms or answer phone calls or do all of this paperwork, but we're not analyzing what is our return on investment on that role and that position.
I love that. And one of the things that we do at Marketing Boss, for example, when somebody hires an intake person, we encourage them to give that person KPIs. How many phone calls are they expected to be able to handle any given day? How many leads are they expected to sign up from marketing? And these are not pie in the sky numbers because there's data. We already can tell volume wise how many phone calls a law firm is getting, right? And we can already tell marketing wise how many qualified leads we can expect. So it's a matter of doing the math. And if you're going to have like a sales and intake person, answering the phone, is giving them that data, because you're right. I do see, and it pains me, where law firm owners just feel overwhelmed, especially at the solopreneur stage, like the scenario you described, feel overwhelmed by all that there is to do. And then they hire a bunch of people, throw them in a seat, and then they like run away to the beach for, whatever, because and I get it. Listen, I'm a mama of 5. I get it, right? Like sometimes you just gotta, but then they come back and everything's falling apart. And it's low-key not your team's fault, because you gotta give them KPIs. You have to have clarity about what ROI you need from each of those individuals, and they have to have clarity about what do they have to do, what action items are going to bring value to your business. So I find it fascinating that you're having those conversations, because at Marketing Boss, we have some very surface conversations with like marketing roles and sales and intake, which is why I have that example in my head. But you get into all of it, right? Paralegals.
Oh yeah, we get into the deepest of the business. So one perfect example that we have, and this is a real case scenario for this law firm is in Texas. The solopreneur, the leading attorney in this firm is an immigration law firm. They also do civil as well. So this firm was in contracts in the pipeline. We have $5.6 million. However, in collection and cash basis, we were at 800, not even a $1 million. And she was like, I'm always stressed. Sales are coming in. I have all these consultations. We have all of this work, and I have all of these people in my team, but I don't see the money. And so, obviously we looked at the P&L, we look at the cash flow, we look at the balance sheet, we look at her Clio, we look at the cash management software. And when I started seeing, I'm like, okay, you're sending out all of these applications, but you're not collecting. Who's in charge of our AR? Well, we don't really have a billing department in-house. We don't have a billing clerk in-house that is in charge. So who is leading in making sure that we're getting paid? Well, the associates, the paralegals, before they send out, they call the client, they collect. So there was no system in place. So this firm had about $2.9 million in uncollected funds. Guess what? It's over $1 million they won't be able to collect. Those cases are closed. People got the results that they needed on the case, and they're not answering the phones. So this is one sad example. Another consultation I had yesterday, this law firm owner, again, entrepreneur, very entrepreneurial, single owner from Florida. She is sending estimated tax payments to the IRS of $196. That's the one she sent in June, and the CPA just confirmed and say, your estimated tax payment in March for Q1, and for June is $286. And so she contacted us because she said, Karen, I'm overpaying in taxes. I'm like, no kidding. You're overpaying in taxes and you have no family benefits. You have no 401k for your employees. I bet you have a lot of people that are dissatisfied, and you have a lot of turnover, and you have C or B players, because those A players are not going to want to work for someone that's not giving them any benefits. So when I mentioned all of that and I said, you're missing out on all of these credits and building a predictable business if you were to reinvest this, and we obviously went into the details of what, she was like, oh my God, so you're telling me that these estimated tax payments could be reinvested into my team, and in addition to that, I'm even getting credits back and even refundable credits from the IRS if I were to invest in my team. And I'm like, yeah, you do.
I
So
love
this
that.
is what we do for.
Yeah, I do. As you're talking, I can relate to that because I have a lot of kids and they're all on my payroll, and they help me make social media content. And it's been like, even just something like that has been such a simple tax savings for me. And then I've got a client that I can think of right now where he ended up hiring his wife as one of his C-suite people, and she was qualified. Okay, she's not just a pretty face, but she qualified, has experience, and she took over a C-suite role, and they became so much more profitable. Like just with those things. So I love that. Now, Karen, I'm gonna ask you a little bit of a loaded question, and I know you're like a nice person, and you're gonna give me a really polite answer. Okay, but why hire somebody like you and not like a big famous consulting firm that offers a fractional one of you?
So one of the things that we have in our office, and we always say, to our clients, we're not your typical accounting firm, because we're not. We don't have a cookie cutter process. We tailor the processes to that particular firm. So when you come to us, we do have our processes in place, right? You have processes in place and have structure in your business so your business can be obviously scalable. However, we don't treat every client like it's another case scenario, another study. We dedicate, our team members are dedicated to that particular firm to make sure that we understand the owner. In this case, tax planning and tax saving, it is not just for the business, it is for the owners. It is for the leading attorneys, for the family, for how do we see ourselves in the future? And one of the other things that we offer, Margarita, here at King of Kings is you have to have projections towards the future, right? Are you doing a succession plan, an accident plan? Are you selling the practice, or this practice going to be transferred to your kids or someone else in the future? What is the vision, or what is that goal towards the future? So here at King of Kings, we don't just offer tax savings and tax planning and fractional CFO services. It is a robust, how would I put it in simple words? It is a robust services that we offer so that you can be successful in what you do and build wealth for your next generations.
And that's different than, I imagine there are law firm owners, and I respect this, that the main purpose of their law firm is for them to have a job. And that's cool. Like if that's where you want to stay. But what you're describing to me sounds so valuable for the law firm owner that wants to build a legacy, that wants to at some point, scale and maybe not completely check out of their firm, because many of the law firm owners that I know, they're really passionate, right? And they still always want to be involved, but not have that constant pressure, that constant grind. And it does require being strategic. Karen, why should a law firm owner work with a consulting firm like yours, and instead of just maybe like, I don't know, saving some money and hiring like a bookkeeper and just somebody to do their taxes? I know I'm asking you these loaded questions, but people are thinking
I love it.
Yes.
I love it. As a law firm owner, we are going to recommend and train your internal team that you do have to have somebody in billing in-house. Most law firm owners think they don't need it. You do need it. You do need somebody in-house. Eventually, depending on the size of the firm, you're going to need a CFO in-house. And you don't need a fractional CFO. You need someone in-house, right? Working with King of Kings, it's more at a higher level. Working with us, depending on the stage that you're in, if it's, you're at $1 million, then it's in that growth mode. But if you're 5 and 10, it's more the asset protection, right? Thinking of, what decisions am I making so that I am moving the business forward and not retroactive. And you want a consultant that is a practitioner, that is also dealing with the same problems that you are, in that moment at a higher level. Because here's one of the things as well. You get a lot of consultants out there that they don't have the experience, and if they did at some point, they had them years ago, which is not relevant to today's market. So those are the big difference right now. We have a portfolio of clients that they're not only going through the process, we ourselves are in a growth mode, we're also having that experience on our end. And on top of that, we have that experience past years, like I mentioned earlier, right? I worked with over 500 law firms before, which we had taken from being less than $1 million to being more than $22 million and above. And so those are the difference, but you will need a team in-house to support you. And we are your external team, part of your team to help you and in your journey.
Hey there, I hope you're enjoying the conversation and your sandwich as much as we are. I want to take a moment to share a few words about our sponsor, Marketing Boss. If you're a law firm owner looking to supercharge your growth, our team at Marketing Boss is here to help. We've got over a decade of experience and a proven track record, and we specialize in growing law firms like yours with data-driven marketing leadership. So if you own a law firm and you're ready to get a predictable, steady flow of cases from your marketing, let's connect at marketing-boss.com.
Karen, as I hear you speaking and describe the way you've built your business, the infrastructure, the way you provide your services, I can't help but identify that there are two types of consulting firms out there that I've come across. Mm-hmm. There are the ones that you could tell they ask themselves, what can I get people to pay me for, and how can I grow as fast as possible and get as many clients as possible? And then there's companies like yours where I could tell you asked yourself, how can I provide the maximum amount of value for my clients and fill these needs? And then second, you think of, how to run your operations. I think that's very commendable. And I bet, and I'm hardly ever wrong, that if you were the type of person that asked yourself that question as a foundation for your business, you're also the type of person that gets inspired by people. And I want to invite you, is there a specific, and you don't have to say the name, is there a specific law firm owner that inspired you to do what you do or that you think about? Because I know I have a handful that I always think about. How could I help blank? If blank needs this, then that means other attorneys also feel like this, also need this. So is there somebody like that where you are comfortable sharing the story? Again, you don't have to say the name, unless you want to, but I would love to know, who inspired you
to do what I do? It's funny, Margarita, because I got this inspiration since I was a kid. I used to run a store when I was 6 years old back in El Salvador. So I'm an entrepreneur since I was at a very young age, and that was poverty. So when I first came to the U.S., I said, I am going to be someone in the legal field. And it's funny because across the years and growing so many firms and being part of this journey, many attorneys were like, Karen, no, you're an entrepreneur, you're a business person. So just stick to what you naturally are and let us do all the legal and whatnot. But it's a passion and a growth that I have. When it comes to going back to your main question, who's my inspiration? Seeing the law firms, a lot of the times the attorneys are so focused on the day-to-day, and like any other business, you're so focused on the day-to-day, so focused on practicing the law, making sure that everything goes according to compliance, and that you're not missing out on anybody's case, and that your trust account at some point. But many attorneys do not understand their financials. It was really sad for me to read the financials yesterday of this law firm from Florida, that the lines in the P&L didn't make sense. I can't make projections with that P&L. I don't know how much money is going into marketing. I don't know how much money was my budget for my payroll. How can I grow my team? If I expect to make another $1 million in a year from now, and I do not know what my budget it is for recruiting, and I do not know how much time I need interviewing, and what exactly am I looking on those avatars, how much time I will invest on that, softwares, how many licenses I will need in the future, then, that's my inspiration. That's when I come in and I'm like, I'm gonna save you thousands of dollars. just by me reviewing your P&L, just by me reviewing your operations, doing an analysis of what you have. And mind you, we're not your business consultant, so that we don't get this confused. We're a tax advisory firm. So we are here to save you money. So our main number one priority is that you're not only making your business predictable, that you can scale your business, but you can have control of your business and your life. And you can keep the money while you're investing in yourself and your family and in your employees towards the future. One example that I'm going to put, really briefly as well, Margarita, I know I have given you a few, is this law firm owner contacted me 3 weeks ago, and he said, Karen, I need a copy of my tax returns. And I was like, okay, we're making a decision for line of credit. We're making a decision because we're trying to buy a property. What type of decisions are we making here? And he said, why is that a red flag to you? I said, you don't ask for your copies of your returns because you have them. Did you asking them is because you need them for a process? What type of process are we looking here?
I love it.
And he said, why are you asking me that question? I said, he was just trying to give me a hard time. This is an old client, and he knows where I'm coming from. And I'm like, because I need to make sure that this aligns to Q2 investments. Otherwise, guess what? We're getting distracted. So he's like, okay, let me tell you, my wife wants to buy an investment home. I said, okay, do we have the entity register where we're gonna be putting this house into? He said, no, she wants to buy it under her personal name. I said, why? Why are we gonna raise liability on this in case in the event that the tenant decides to do anything? And he's like, Karen, it is so funny that I'm the lawyer and you're the one teaching me about liability all the time. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm just reminding you. I'm not teaching you. I'm just reminding you that why are we gonna expose ourselves? And so he's like, no, we'll go ahead and register the entity. Send me the instructions. I told her she needed to consult with you, but she's like, no, we'll just do it. And I'm just like, these are the things that you have us for. When you make those type of decisions, we're gonna remind you. And in another case, Margarita, we have a client that their estimated tax payments, obviously right now, Q2 is about to conclude in June 30th. And I send emails to my clients and I say, what are we doing? How are we increasing morale in our company? Are we in line with our Q2 goals? Are we meeting those goals? And if we have profits, obviously, we estimate and how can we reinvest in the business according to the business plan, not according to what I think. So we're part of your internal team.
That's amazing. Karen, you answered some really heavy hitter questions. I'm gonna give you a break. I'm gonna ask you one more question before we wrap up today. The podcast is called Care Sandwich. So I like to know from every guest, what is your favorite sandwich?
Oh my God. So I like the Cuban sandwich.
Really? Okay.
Those are my favorites. I really don't have a preferred one, but when I go to a Cuban restaurant, I always look at their menu and I'm like, you know what? I have to have a sandwich. One of the Cuban
Where's
sandwiches.
your favorite place to get a Cuban sandwich in Atlanta? Or anywhere really, but I'm just curious because I know you live
Well,
in
there's
Atlanta.
one here. There's called Cabana, Cuban Cabana, close by in Brookhaven. So I usually go there. I don't go to many places to eat. I don't really eat out, but that's the ones that from once a year or so I stop by and I'm like, I gotta have a sandwich.
I love it. I was asking more for me because I need to know where to go to get a good Cuban sandwich.
Oh, then I will invite you to that one and we can go to that one. It's very authentic though. It's a small, tiny place, but it's very authentic. I think that's why I like it.
I love it. I love it. And Karen, before we go, tell us, how can law firm owners get in touch with you to find out more about you, about your services?
Yes, and we also have, we also have an offer to law firm owners that if we don't find you within 7 business days, $50,000 that you can save and you have overpaid in taxes, we will give you $1,000. So that's a guarantee of the work that we do to you.
What?
So within 7 business days, we dive into your business and we'll find you over $50,000 that you're losing or overpaying in taxes. And if not, then we'll give you $1,000. So you'll find us at www.kingofkingsllc.com. And obviously my email, Karen@kingofkingsllc.com. And our phone number, that's 678-249-9899, 678-249-9899. And in the social medias, you'll find us as King of Kings Business and Tax Advisory.
Love it, love it. There you have it, folks. Get in touch with Karen and her team. She's going to get you $50,000 in savings. They're going to be detective. If not, you get $1,000. So either way, a win is a win. So thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next episode of Care Sandwich.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Care Sandwich. Remember, the way we care for our clients, our teams, and ourselves can make all the difference in our success. Until next time, keep caring, keep growing, and I'll see you on the next episode of Care Sandwich.